How's it going? Welcome to another episode of Lost Like Mike. I am your host, Mike Gonzalez. Just getting started. Wanted to talk a little bit about the last show. I had some trouble with it. I do like I normally do. I posted on Buzzsprout, and which distributes it out to all the different channels, and I also put it on YouTube. But when I do all the things to upload it, I kind of just walk away and don't worry about it. And so middle of the week, talking to a friend, he wondered if everything was cool because I didn't put a video up on YouTube. And I said, well, yeah, I totally did, but let me check it out. And of course, it wasn't there. So for whatever reason, the upload failed, and and I had a hard time getting it posted all the way. I think I finally got it to post yesterday or something like that. So I apologize for that. I'm recording on a Sunday again. I'm finding that Sunday's going to be the home for a little bit, but the family's all here, so we'll see how that goes. We're sort of playing that one by ear. Just feeling it out. Also, incidentally, I didn't go back, as I don't do these days. I don't go back and listen to the podcast. I feel that it makes me overthink what I'm going to say and the things that I say. For good or for bad, this is supposed to be honest. So that being said, I did, while I was uploading the episode, I saw images from it, and then I thought a little bit about the things that I remembered talking about. So I wanted to go ahead and put it out there that, yeah, I get it. I look a little rough around the edges, especially on that last episode. A little hidden rock bottom. That I felt like I look a little bit like I was talking about, getting the new year going and resolutions and figuring things out, and it being okay to navigate some of those cliches of, we're drawing a line in the sand, kind of things, and just being okay with that and saying, whether it's today, tomorrow, or your birthday, or New Year's Eve to New Year's Day, it's just do something right and get something going. But I did feel like I was looking a little bit like I needed a pep talk more than anything else. So yeah, I went ahead and weighed myself, and I'm pretty ready to start getting everything going. My wife says she wants to do keto. I'm not excited about that. It's not that I feel like it's a fad diet. I really don't. I just feel like you have to find whatever works in your lifestyle and that you're going to be able to do moving forward. And I'm trying to picture a scenario where long term I can give up all that stuff. Consistency is key, of course, but I'm just saying, I think I'm just kind of done with sugar, stuff like that. If I can figure out some sort of way to, I use this app where I count calories, and it gets to the point where it's like something's not right about it. I'm posting these calorie counts, and according to the calorie count, I should be losing weight. But then, or like I'm hitting my target my calories, and then, I'm gaining weight. So, it's not rocket science. My calories must be wrong or whatever. You know, all those things kind of can be fudged, and all of a sudden you're posting a medium fry when you had a large, and you're posting one burger when you had, whatever. I'm just kidding, but it is something where, I talked about maybe doing my watch is running out of battery. You want to tell me why I was given this, what do they call these? iWatches? Anyway, but my wife has the charger. It's kind of loosely sort of owning my ability to charge it. Anyway, the same thing with these. There's commercials for these watches where there's do more with your watch, and now your watch knows how to count your, measure your strides in your walk and all this sort of thing. But then when I wear the watch and I play tambourine, it thinks that I'm running a marathon. It's congratulations, you went 300 times over the amount of physical exertion you're supposed to have in a day. And I'm nope, no, I didn't. I played a song on the tambourine. Take it easy. Anyway, it's running out of juice. So, I don't know where I was at. Which also brings me to another point, because I've kind of been concerned recently. I've talked about it ad nauseum, but sometimes I worry that I will have some sort of Alzheimer's or dementia. It's where I run really close with, where it hit me a little close to home when there was those episodes with Chris Hemsworth on the Disney Channel Discovery episodes. But when you don't get enough sleep, when you don't, when you're pushing yourself at both ends, maybe when you're not eating right, there's no secret to living right or wrong, but sometimes I'll find myself being a little spacey, but it hits a little different, right? When you're thinking, well, it's a 50-50 shot, man. On one side of the family, it's there, in predominance, and on a long enough timeline, sort of everybody has a diminished capacity of, mental faculties. So it's just one of those things where I'm kind of concerned, or it causes me pause, because I don't like that feeling. It reminds me of this situation. I was outside doing my leaves. I'm kind of tending to the yard. I think we'll just say we didn't tell this story before. If I did, I apologize. I was doing the leaves, and it was early in fall, in autumn, so it was just my yard looked bad. So I started tending to it, and there was an older lady from across the street, one of the houses in and around that area, and she was, I guess, outside getting some sun or whatever they call it. She was just hanging out. And she goes, oh, there's a lot of leaves going to fall still. There's going to be a lot of leaves still to fall. And I said, yeah, I just want my yard to look good. But it's going to look like trash tomorrow. The leaves are going to fall. They're still falling. There's plenty of leaves on the trees to fall. And what's the point in cleaning it up now if it's just going to be full of leaves tomorrow? And I said, you know what? I said, yeah, but why even get out of bed? Why do anything? It's all pointless. Why even get out of bed then? She said, I'm sorry, what? What was that again? And I said, yes, ma'am, you're right there. I'll just, Yep, you are right. No, nothing, ma'am. Nothing. No. Yeah, I get the absurdity and the pointlessness sometimes of certain actions, you know. I mean, I worked in I worked in hotels, and you turn a room over only to have it trashed the next day. I worked in movie theaters where you cleaned an auditorium for only for it to be destroyed for the next 2 hours and to do it all again. There's a Tibetan ritual of making this very elaborate art, blowing sand and trickling sand in these elaborate mazes of multicolored sand, only to blow it all away, to let it all, and I think that's the lesson that they try to teach, is that, everything holds its value for the moment, but not to put that type of long-term value in it. But I think it's kind of like one of those things where you look at your memories in that same respect, that you want to hold on to something forever. And yes. Hey, come on in. What you doing? Okay. All right. Speaking of holding on to things, how are you doing?
Good.
Oh, yeah? Can I ask you you want me to ask you some questions? You would like to play? Okay. How are you doing today?
Good.
Where did you go?
I went to church.
You did? Now, do you go to church where I go to church? Do you go sit down with me, or do you go to another area? Where do you go?
Another area.
What did you learn about?
About God.
Oh, cool. Nice. Did you have fun, though? All right. Hey, you know what? I wrote a book and you're in it. Yeah? You know what it's called? Pinky and Gets Messy, and I'm sure I won't. Look, Messy Pinky, puppy, needs a bath.
Puppy.
Yeah. You read this book? Did you like it? She does all kind of weird stuff in the book. Is there anything that you do that Pinky does in the book? What's the thing that you do most like Pinky in the book?
Go in the mud.
The mud pies, and making mud pies with the acorns and the all that stuff. Oh, that's so fun. That's good. Well, I did that book because I love you, and I want you to have something that's cool like that has you in it, right? Hey, you know what? Do you remember we went to that Mexican restaurant, and then I had went to go to the bathroom, and the waiter came and he asked for our order, and then they said, and Mama said, well, we'll take this and we'll take that, and that's all going to be for the daddy that's going to sit right here. And what did he say?
Oh my.
Oh, yeah, that's what he said. He said, oh my, that's a lot of food for one guy.
Oh my.
Oh my. That's funny. Oh, man. I remember that was, where you going? You going to leave? No, okay. I remember when I came back, you told me that story, and it was very funny. It caught me off guard. I did not expect it. Yeah? You know what else you started recently? Uh-oh. Are you stealing my goodies? Yeah? Do you remember you started cheerleading, right? What's your favorite thing about cheerleading?
Nothing.
Nothing? Or the whole thing?
There's only one I like.
Oh, there's a cheer that you like.
Candles.
Candles? Tell me, what is this candle cheerleading?
You just put your hand out like this.
Uh-huh. And then what do you say? Merry Christmas?
Nothing.
What? Do you say, go team, go?
No, you don't say anything.
You ever heard the one where they go, my mama says you ugly. Hey. No? You've never heard that cheer?
No.
Okay, well, you don't have to learn that cheer. We'll do this to the candles and we won't say nothing. You know, all the decorations in here are yours. You made the rubber bands and you gave me the rocks and all the toys. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm. Where does the snowman go?
It's on my head. See? Oh, it was a snowman? I thought you put a little rock on my head.
It was a snowman.
Okay, well that's good. Hey, last thing, and I'll ask you one more question, and then you can go. But thank you for visiting me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, what did we do on your birthday?
He ate cake.
Mm-hmm.
We said,
No, what about we went and you went and you painted pictures?
Uh-huh.
What did we paint?
We painted a puppy.
We both did, right? I'm gonna show a picture of your puppy on here. Is that okay? That we painted, and everybody painted the same puppy.
Uh-huh.
Was it fun? Hey, you and I are supposed to do a daddy-daughter painting thing, right? What are we gonna paint then?
A frog.
Is that right?
I think. Well, my mama said it might be like it might be dolphins or
Yeah.
or it might be a gorilla.
Okay. We painted this too, right? You painted that, the background and everything.
You also helped.
I did help. All right, pal. This was fun. Huggy. Oh, I love you so much. Yeah? And we'll play when I get done, okay? All right. Thanks for hanging out. Love you.
No.
No, I don't want to talk to the dog. Well, that was our first guest, everybody. Woof. That was fun. She's funny. She got shy. We try to do she wanted to have a YouTube channel at one point, right? And I have the videos somewhere, well, on my phone, but I have like just assorted videos. We tried to make a cake one time. We tried to make a craft that was something that she had seen on somebody else's YouTube channel, which was fine because it's almost like just paying, you know, it was like an homage to this other one that was there. We weren't even going to post it, so whatever. But we could never make it through an entire episode because it would devolve very quickly from whatever activity it was to like chaos. I mean, one time we were trying to show how to get slime. You know, the kids play with this slime. We were trying to figure out a way to get the slime out of a piece of clothing. And next thing you know, she's splashing water on me and laughing hysterically and speaking in tongues. It was very creepy. It's a lot of stuff. Yeah, that was fun. Probably in the future, I do want to have guests. I don't quite know how we're going to do that. What the format will be at that point, but we could pursue it. I know there's some folks I reached out to already asking if they'd be interested. It's just about having the time on coordinating all that. I realize that I'm a work in progress. And I thought about that earlier today. Of course, I went to church and, my wife and and daughter, sometimes they ride separately because they go straight from there to visit family that live in the area. And I take the opportunity to run home and get started on, what would be a podcast or whatever it is that I'm working on at the time. And, today's sermon, as usual, it taps into something that's relevant to whatever I'm thinking or feeling, and typically something having to do with aspiring to be better. And you usually walk away feeling like, all right, I could do this. I could be a better person, a nicer person, whatever. And today was no different. I decided I was going to clean up, get a haircut or whatever, and come home and do a podcast. So I, not 2 miles away from the church, maybe 5 minutes away from the church, a guy, I'm getting into a lane. I have my blinker on. I'm getting into the lane. And I guess the guy was thinking about maybe one day getting into the lane. So he lays into his horn for some reason. And next thing you know, and now listen, I would never advise road rage or to have any sort of antics towards other vehicles. These days, most likely it has something to do with, a gun or something. Anyway, but I'm Rick and frecking it up and huffing and puffing for a good maybe half a mile before I said, wait a minute, you just were gonna be a better person. What happened? But I'm a work in progress. I was at incidentally, right? Maybe you can help me understand the proper phrasing, which, by the way, thank you for the comments. Thank you for the emails at lostlikemike@gmail.com. I obviously haven't monetized the show. Although we did have 200 downloads. Very proud of that. Good job, us. But, yeah. So I just pay for the show to be published on the wide scale. And I currently own lostlikemike.com. I don't have a website, but I pay for that anyway. Maybe one day we'll do like a car wash or something, a bake sale to help offset the cost, or maybe I'll monetize, who knows. But where was I going with that? What was I saying? Oh, I lost that train. Where went the train? No, I was at I was picking up dinner at the famous Mexican restaurant. The reason why we say it's famous because I've talked about this particular location in the past. This was the same location where I told them at the over the intercom, listen to me very carefully. No guacamole because my wife's allergic, and if she eats it, she'll die. And then I get up to the window, and then they said, oh, here you go. And I needed to look into the bags, but they kind of gave me a look like I should get going. And then I pulled forward, and then sure enough, there's guacamole on the whole thing. And I do a Yui, I reverse so that I could yell at the lady through the window, hey, I have, a lethal batch of guacamole in I feel like it's, Anyway, that same location. And I went because, right? I mean, Okay, because I went to another Mexican restaurant recently, and I was looking at the menus, and the lady was like, "Well, can I help you? What are you looking for?" And I said, "I don't know, maybe something with carnitas or whatever." And she said, "What's that?" And I said, "You know what? Maybe I'm not at the right Mexican restaurant if you don't even know what I'm talking about." Well, the food was okay there, but anyway, I was back at this other Mexican restaurant, and I was ordering at the window, at the intercom again, and I go through my spiel. But here's the we knew that we were going to start dieting, right? Like you forecasting. You say, I know one day I'm going to eat right, so today I'm going to eat just a little bit extra bad. I feel guilty saying it that way, but everybody does that, so don't front. But we were. My wife had sort of got me into the habit, right? Because they give this plate, right, and it has some chicken on it, right? And they give you 2 tacos, but they in the past, they'll pack in the chicken, and they'll give you an extra tortilla, right, so that you can make split the taco, make an extra taco. Well, my wife had got me in the habit. She'll throw me a little extra chicken because she doesn't want that extra chicken, and so I end up having enough for if I wanted one, I could have an extra taco, right? So I say on the intercom, I place the order, right? But then at the end of it, I say, listen, I know, and I'm going to try to say it I'm going to say it exactly as I said it, because if I am wrong, please let me know. Here we go. I said, listen, I know that the order comes with extra tortillas, but in addition, may I please have another extra tortilla? To which the person answered, how many? And I said, I suppose 2 would do me. No problem, right? The person says. And listen, I know that I've said before at this particular location, I should look in the bags or whatever. But here's what happened. I pulled up, and the window to pay, right? In my experience with this location, I know that sometimes they tell you to pull forward. Hey, could you pull forward? Your food's not ready. We'll run it out to you, right? Okay. So the person ahead of me is at the pay window, and then they pull forward, but they only pull forward maybe 3 feet to where the butt of their car is just in front of the pay window. So even if I pull all the way up and kiss their bumper, I'm still going to have to reach my arm to meet the guy at the pay window. And the person at the pay window would have to be like leaning out and reaching towards me, right? So I am just going through every mean thing, and I'm like, this guy, they told him to pull forward. He doesn't understand the concept. He must have thought, oh, just inch up a bit and then everything will work out in life. And I'm just saying all these mean things in my head, and I'm thinking, I mean, it's not going to make your food come any faster. Look, if you just were going to, you might as well have just stayed there at the window if you weren't even going to listen to what they said. If you don't want to even pull forward, whatever. And then the guy opens the window, and he's saying, confirming the order, and he says, one with no guacamole. He says everything correctly. So I'm like, you know what? This guy's got it right today. So I'm not going to go hard in the paint on checking the bags, right? Fool me twice, it's on me. So, I pay the guy, and still this guy's in front of me, and I'm just going through this dummy. Like, I might as well just camp out because this guy's waiting. Like, you already blew it, and like this person already came out and got my money, and you couldn't even have the decency. As I'm going through all these different things, a person comes out through the side door to deliver the food, and turns out there was a car in front of that truck. And so, like, out loud, as I'm assessing the situation, I said to myself, or out loud, oh no, I'm the asshole. Because I read that bad boy wrong. So apparently they were just really behind, and the person had already pulled forward. And then when that secondary person got up, they went ahead and pulled however far forward that they possibly could, for whatever reason. Might as well leave me back there to let me wait. But to no fault of their own, they didn't pull all the way forward. So again, I'm a work in progress, and I'm sorry. Sometimes when I review situations, I ascertain that I am in fact flawed. Anyway, on Valentine's Day, I'm going to go. Apparently, I thought I'd cracked my tooth. I'm telling you, Mona Lisa's falling apart, y'all. I thought I cracked my tooth, okay? So and this is maybe TMI, but I went ahead and flossed because you want to kind of keep the gums healthy. And I said, I got to figure out what's going on with this crack. Well, of course, a chunk of my tooth came out. Just a piece of tooth came out. So, yeah. Dad, I'm gonna get some dental work done. And I remember I mentioned in a previous episode that the doctor had told me that there was so moles can grow anywhere, and I'm going to have a mole removed, several probably. But we talked about this on the previous episode on one of them, because I know that one doctor had said that it was this condition of like perpetual, like that it was just going to be something that's going to happen more often and all the time because of a condition, whereas a second doctor said that first doctor was full of it and didn't know what they were talking about. So, yeah, word to the wise, always take everything with a grain of salt, especially when they tell you that it's something detrimental that you don't want to hear. But anyway, so that's my, I think it's on Martin Luther King Day or Valentine's Day. I don't know. There's several doctor's appointments, and I'm having to work them in when like I have days off. So I'm taking Valentine's Day off because I'm going to go hang out with my daughter at her school. Which, if you want to hear a story about reverse sexism, I'll tell you when. Okay. I went to go help on Christmas at her school. And I'm not knocking anybody. It's a subconscious thing. It's unconscious bias that we all have. Just because I bring it to the light afterwards, I don't blame anybody for it. But I went in to go help, and I show up early because on the email that was forwarded to me by way of text, they said if you show up early, you can help set up the event, their Christmas party. You stay late, you can, if you would, to clean up. Right. And so it just so happens that I have some experience with party hosting and, food service and all that kind of stuff. But they see a guy show up. I mean, a complete archetype where I had the flannel shirt and just looking like a lumberjack, right? But I started telling him, my suggestions for plate settings and for the most efficient way to run this to where the kids were eating their sandwiches and whatnot. And I guess saying that it was a reverse sexist thing was a bit strong, but you know, it was kind of like, at first when I showed up, it was like, well, let's do it heavy boxes, we can have them lift or whatever. And it's like, by the end of it, we were talking about decorating and all this kind of stuff. It was funny to me that those assumptions were given out the gate, right? You know, because I'm just saying, it's put the shoe on the other foot for a second, right? If somebody shows up and I start saying, oh, well, you know, what sort of womanly things can I have you do while the men do what they you know what I mean? It would have been like, ugh, what a jerk, right? And yet there it was. So now that transpired once, I'm hoping I'm looking forward to the Valentine's Day event, because I've established a reputation with the mothers and the teachers and whatnot. So we already talked about it. It's gonna be fun. We'll get to go in there and set that party up and hang out with them, and it's cute. It was just a few little kids and stuff. I've been thinking a lot about that recently. I won't really get into it as far as it's kind of like but I do. I don't like separatist talk of when people are like that, when it comes to like, and you know what? I'm open. Somebody can talk to me about it. We can have a conversation about it. How about it? We'll have a conversation about it. If somebody wants to have a conversation about it, please message me. We can have it as a topic. You know, easy there, boy. I don't know if I'll do that on the show, but at the very least, we can have a chat about it. But in terms of cultural appropriation, when I hear things of that nature, when people say they don't want to hear people misusing other people's culture, it's difficult for me to understand, because a lot of times people misunderstand or misconstrue that cultural appropriation for it being just shared art and shared music and really it being part of a larger culture. You know, I'm not really talking about like a melting pot, so to speak, but you know, it's like, okay, they talk about cultural appropriation and all these types of things, but take, for example, the Wu-Tang Clan, right? And their obsession with like samurais and all those things. It comes from a place of reverence and a place of like of loving like the kung fu movies and the genres of different fighting movies and things that were going on in the late 70s or 80s, you know. But flash forward, and some of those things became ingrained into the actual culture of us growing up. I remember when I was introduced to hip hop and when there were just crossing of different like genres of music, right? When Anthrax was doing songs with Public Enemy and Aerosmith was doing songs with Run DMC, there was nothing about stealing from one or another. It wasn't presented in that way. And so when and maybe to an extent, we could go back and talk about how in certain, the record companies were stealing indiscriminately from artists. It wasn't about stealing or oppressing one culture or another, or underpaying this person because of the color of skin. They were doing it to everybody. And doing it with songwriters and, I mean, across the board. And I get it when they're talking about, like, they'll say, like, well, Elvis stole, or he took the style of music and the of these different artists, you know, or these different white, like the Rolling Stones, you know, stealing the blues but honestly, music speaks to people on a fundamental level. Like, it's universal. And anyway, we can really get into it one of these days and have a long conversation about these things. I think, you know, you don't want to be too contrived and like map it out and sort of do all this type of, but you want to have a little bit of research under your belt, you know, when you talk about it. You know, not to come off like as if I want to be an authority on anything, but a lot of times I just get turned off by the way people talk about race in America. It always sounds so separatist, like getting behind things like certain channels for certain people. I mean, saying things like, well, this is my people, that's your people. It's just all separatist, and I don't enjoy that. I don't like it. It'll take a long time to evolve as an overall people to eradicate some of that stuff. But it'll never stop if it's always perpetuated in these ways. I mean, what do I know? It just bothers me sometimes. I know as an artist, I mean, I play these shows, and sometimes I'll get looks if I sing a certain song or not. And that's a drag, but they act like I don't know. Another day we'll talk about it. Anyway, do you ever feel like you just want to downsize everything? I want to sell everything, get rid of. I have a bunch of guitars and music equipment, extra stuff that I look around and think it's too much. I think you should be able to. You should be able to get up and say, all right, everybody, we're going to move to another town and not feel like weighed down by your stuff. Where people will give you things and you think, well, now I have to figure out where to put that or how I can get rid of it. And it's no disrespect to the people that give you those things. I just remembered she put a snowman on my head. I have to remember to get it off the floor or the dog's going to eat it. Last thing I want is my dog pooping out clay snowmen in the backyard. Oh, man. Yeah, so fad diets, I'm not really going to go there. I mean, I think if we can overall get her to, we're not going to eat out, I'm down. I'll take that. I told her if we're not going to eat out, if I'm going to eat less on for lunch. I thought about intermittent fasting, but again, it's just one of those things where I want to set it for the future. And if I can do it, but speaking of which, that was one thing that they said at church today that sort of resonated with me. The idea that a lot of times fear of the unknown of today or tomorrow, of the fragility of life, or what all these different things causes a person to not do as much as they should be doing, or not maximizing, because they're just caught up in thinking about those things, right? So the idea is to get past that hurdle and just do as if that isn't the case. It's sort of in contrary belief to the idea of do as if there is no tomorrow, right? Like the carpe diem, live for today, right? But for some people, the idea that there is no tomorrow takes away the purpose of doing sort of these longer term projects, or these bigger, like why care about smoking cigarettes if I'm not going to be here tomorrow? Do you see what I'm saying? Like if you're living that carpe diem kind of thing, it can work. It could be sort of have a opposite effect anything can be if you really allow it to. But anyway, I'm trying to have that mentality that today matters. Yeah, it could all fall apart tomorrow, but in case it doesn't, I'm going to start exercising. I'm going to eat right because I want to be there to see my grandkids or whatever, right? Live for today, is the utmost. But at the same time, have some purpose. Oh, cute. They're sliding notes through the door. Stop. I see it. No. Well, it is a shorter episode already at the door because we're talking. I found that between 50 minutes and an hour, we do fine on the show. But they're lobbying to go take care of some business if we can. Which I guess we can start summarizing the day. Right. All things considered, I'm going to post it today. If there should be no problems, I apologize for last time. Consistency is key, apparently. And so for those of you that went and said, oh, he lasted 24 episodes and then he fizzled out and didn't do any more new episodes, that wasn't the case. I'd like to think that even if I was on vacation, or even if I, knock on wood, had some sort of something happen that made it difficult to record an episode, I would still make arrangements to make it happen. But I do apologize for anybody that was like trying to go check one out and then nothing was there, right? On a side note, I finally posted, I put a picture of myself on social media. On my Facebook. Apparently, I didn't think that was a thing, but I'd gone to this animal world snake farm, right? Where they have like zebras and lions and jaguars and a bunch of different snakes and animals and whatnot. I'll probably show a picture of one of them. But I went to this petting zoo area, and I think her name is Sally. It's this llama. And I was introducing myself to the different baby goats and the goats, and they have cows and stuff that are just roaming around, a pig and whatnot. And I was coming around this zebra, so stupid, a llama, and it turned to look at me, and it had the most goofiest face ever. It's oh, it's not an alpaca. Stop saying that, because I asked the lady and she said that alpacas have fuzzy heads and that this in fact was a llama. Okay. It was a llama. And but she started following me around a little bit, and so I thought it was too funny and too much fun. I love that llama. And I believe her name was Sally. But anyway, I posted a picture of it on as my profile picture on my Facebooks, and then on my storyline, which I never do. I need to start posting something. It's just that I felt I only want to post something if it's silly, or if it's not, if it's inconsequential, if it's just, I don't want to hype something like the podcast or things, because to be honest with you, I'd rather strangers listen to the podcast rather than people that I know. It's not a dig. It's just, number one, they wouldn't listen. But number two, you can get inside your head that way too, thinking that people that you know are listening to what you're playing. Anyway, but I'll probably put a picture of the llama up. Maybe a little video if I can figure out how to do that part. She was so funny. Right, but it was a lot of fun. I did get real lightheaded. I had just come off of doing a lot the day before, so I'll have to go back there when I'm not like feeling all sick or whatever. Man, but I think there was something I was wanting to say about that day. We'll have to review that and come back and talk about it another time. But anyway, thank you for listening to the show. Thank you for subscribing to the YouTube channel, or to sharing it with friends, or sending in topics, sending emails to lostlikemike@gmail.com. I do want it to be a symbiotic sort of relationship where we share different things. I'll try to do it. Inevitably, I want to try to do it on evenings, or sometime where the family is in bed. I like hearing them in the background, but I kind of at the same time, I realize that's not what I really want to portray it as either. I thank my little one for coming in and being our first guest. And if there's topics or ideas that you would like to suggest, send them in, and I'll probably record it earlier in the week and still put it out on the same day. All right. Well, until next week, I will see you then. All right. Take care of yourselves.